Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. Spring training is in full swing with the Phillies playing their first handful of games. The Phillies have reportedly extended an offer to Jordan Montgomery. Could the free agent pitcher land with the Fightins? The Flyers suffer a tough weekend with back-to-back losses against the Rangers and Penguins. Cal Peterson is waived after a dreadful performance on Sunday. Jamie Drysdale goes down with an injury, while Travis Konecny remains out of the lineup. Can the depleted Flyers hang on to a playoff spot? Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman speak to the media at the NFL Combine. A.J. Brown calls into WYP. What do Nick and Howie's comments say about who might be staying and going? The Sixers beat the Cavs on Friday, but dropped games against the Bucks and Celtics. The team is hopeful Joel Embiid can make a return in late March. And just how bad is Tobias Harris? The Union advanced in the CONCACAF Champions Cup and draw in their home opener versus Chicago with a dramatic last-minute equalizer. All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. Damp, but warm. It's nice out, which is a welcomed feeling in February, but shit down as usually on the day of the pod. But all in all, pretty good. First full week back. I feel like getting into a groove again, had a nice slow weekend, so feeling pretty good. Obviously, the sports aren't making me feel any better in Philadelphia, but other than that, I can't complain.
Yeah, things are all right. Yo, did you say anything about the Flyers in the open? You didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
He blacked out.
I wasn't paying attention. Okay. I was getting my articles pulled up, getting ready for the pod. Okay, my bad. I got this new phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm so distracted.
Yeah.
Just after...
Just mesmerized by the technology.
After 9 or 10 long years.
Avery's actually been using a flip phone for the past 15 years.
Shit,
it came with some strings.
I might as well have been in the last few months with my Android. It was from like 2019. It would just randomly turn off on its own. Had to go to charge it, it'd just turn off. It would just freeze. Here's how bad it got, right? I was walking down the street, plugged in my earbuds, tried to listen to some music. The phone just crashed and it wouldn't reboot for like 3 hours.
Damn. Yeah, it was telling you.
Put me out. Now that phones are just computers, they have the same, they just kind of somehow they just wear out. I never understood why electronics just kind of wear, like what is happening in there? Why does it slow down? I've always had my like weird conspiracy thing is that there's just like a, like a hidden program embedded in all these things where it just automatically like forces it to slow down and stop working after a few years.
For sure. Yeah, that's the objective. They want you to buy a new one.
Your phone pulled a Mitch McConnell and said, I gotta go. His hand started turning blue. He said, I gotta retire. Your phone said, I can't play music anymore.
My phone did the same thing. It froze up just like him, like a turtle.
Shit said, I'm not a young man anymore. I gotta shut this shit down.
Mitch McConnell gonna retire finally.
Piece of shit.
We're not gonna get to see any of his K-hole moments, or
he's still
it looks
around.
Like he's like on salvia or something.
He's still around till November, so we won't see him gone. He still has enough time to do some damage, but he's
So I guess
all sad.
What is it? There's then there'll be like some kind of special election to fill the hole or something.
Maybe. Well, he won't run. No, I think they should be able to. Well, I don't know what's up for this year's election.
He
I
could
don't know if his seat is, but like someone will have to.
Well, yeah, they'll just have an election for his seat.
They'll create an election for his seat, even if it's not up.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so he's out. Fucking piece of shit.
I mean, they'll probably just elect some other cretin,
just a younger, more evil version of him.
It'll just be a version of him that's half his age and somehow twice as evil.
Yeah. Unlike your new and improved phone, though. But
the
old phone,
definitely back, baby.
Yeah,
but it's nice to have a new phone. Episode 51, the Carlos Ruiz episode, the Chooch episode.
Yeah, dude.
Next week, episode 52. Actually, you know what? I think I said this last week, but this is pretty much the anniversary of the first episode we recorded.
Yeah, I think this is technically like the 1 year.
Calendar year to date.
Yeah. Next week will be, 52.
52 weeks. We skipped a week. Or 52 episodes, 53 weeks.
Yeah.
But hey, that's a milestone in and of itself. We'll have to have a nice bottle of bubbly.
Yeah, we'll get some little party hats.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
What do you call the things that go like the
little kazoos,
but like the little...
No, not that elaborate. The little thing where the thing like unfurls out.
Oh, whatever you call them. Noise makers, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what those are called, but Gonna have to get those.
We'll bring our top 5 fans if you,
little confetti guns.
VIP access.
Yeah. We're gonna have a red carpet outside.
Yeah. We'll have some cigars. We'll be smoking cigars in Trevor's basement, making it stink down here.
Yeah, just avoid my security deposit.
Yeah. It just burns the whole basement down for 1 year. Damn, we've had some good run.
That would be a good time. But
yeah, man.
This fucking shower broke over the weekend.
What happened?
Which one?
It like the little like the faucet thing at the bottom
To keep it plugged or unplugged.
Yeah, where you get to like pull the little lever up to make the shower work. That whole thing just like fell off.
Damn.
So you've just been taking baths?
Because it was all rusted. Well, we only were without it for a day or two, and I was like working from home, so I was like, whatever, I could deal with it.
But you all had to just take baths together. Damn.
Yeah, we had to.
You both can't fit in that tub.
No, I can't even. I don't know. I'm not a bath guy. I'm too tall to be a bath guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably too tall for my tub, but I make it work.
If I try to take a bath, like my knees would be sticking out of it. It'd be all weird.
Also sucks when the tub when the walls aren't high enough too. You go to you think you're gonna get a good tub, a good bath in, you lay in the water, and it's like not. You're just like, it's just up to here. You're like, well, I'm not even like. My shoulders aren't in. I like to be like nice and cozy in there.
Yeah, I gotta like move around to get like my whole body submerged at times.
Yeah, that's when it gets tricky. But good to know. It got fixed, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good for that. Speaking of things that don't work and are breaking down as we speak, we can jump into the Sixers if you want that way.
Do we want to start with Sixers?
Might as well start
first
with
is the
misery.
worst.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we can start first as the worst. So the Sixers
felt good after that Cavs win. I thought, okay, nice little bounce back win after they almost pulled it out.
Like I was looking at, I forget exactly what the numbers were, but it was something like after Embiid's been out, we've only won like 4 or 5 games or something, and 2 of them have been against the Cavs. And that same period, the Cavs have only lost 4 games, and 2 of them have been against us.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Wrong with that team?
We've lost like 12 out of 17 that we haven't had Embiid so far this season, or like this stretch. It's pitiful.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, for the season we're 7-17.
They're just not a basketball team without Embiid.
It's no one catches fire together. You got Maxey playing his balls off, which is great, but like Buddy's kind of dissipated as well. Like he does okay, but no one else is doing really enough to help us get over that hump. I mean, every other game I feel like we're watching, they're down by 15 by half every game, and they can't quite get over that hurdle.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't have enough guys that can score to volume. I mean, when Maxey's doing good, that's fine, but you need more than that. And ideally, that person would be your other max contract person, Tobias Harris, but...
Oh, we'll get to him.
Yeah.
We will get to him, but... A couple bright spots that I've seen is one, Ricky Council. Talked about him a little bit last week.
Yeah, man, he's killing it.
Yeah,
he looks like a player.
A couple nice finishes last night. He had a dunk in garbage time that was pretty mean. Mm-hmm. He's shown up. He's got, as he says, he's got that dog in him.
He is aggressive, which I like. Energetic. He, goes up and down the court with aggression. So it's good to see that way. And he honestly takes smart shots. He's not. Where I feel like Oubre had that in the beginning.
Oubre's been just...
He's a little reckless, I feel like now.
He's been just letting it fly, which is great when they were going in.
Council has a little bit more demeanor to him that way when he's making his shots. But, yeah, it's just... He ain't going to be the one to help us out.
Yeah, no, like... He's a good role player you unearthed as an undrafted pick, or not even a pick, an undrafted guy out of college. Mm-hmm. So, that's been great to see. Maxey, as you mentioned, Maxey's been hooping.
Yeah.
I enjoyed... The first 2.5 quarters of that game, 3 quarters of that game last night were pretty entertaining. I mean, they were down 91-89 at one point in the fourth quarter. And Maxey was letting it rip. He had 32, I believe. Yeah. He was talking shit to Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
he picked Jaylen Brown's pocket a couple times, was chirping at him. You know why, right? Because in the All-Star game, Jaylen Brown and Maxey were on the same team. I remember this. One of the few things I remember about that game, they were on the same team. And Jaylen Brown gets a rebound in the middle of the court. Maxey's wide open on the wing. Jaylen Brown stares him down straight up for 2 seconds and then just passes it to Jason Tatum, who's covered. So I think Maxey remembered that. He's like, I'm coming for this guy today. And Maxey, great offensive game, really played good defense. The other thing that I enjoyed was when they don't have Embiid and they don't have anyone that can score, they need to push the pace.
Yeah.
And for the first 2 quarters of that game, they were flying up and down the court. Boston really know what to expect.
Yeah.
That's what you get when you play a 3-guard lineup, right? You have Maxey, who's fast and agile. You have Kyle Lowry, who's not particularly fast, but knows how to push the ball.
He's quick,
can hit those hit-ahead passes.
He's got that donk weighing him down.
Yeah.
You know, he can't.
He's like a nice Cadillac. Once he gets momentum going, he's good to go.
Yeah.
He's a little older. And then you have Ricky Council filling a wing, Kelly Oubre filling a wing, Campaign, Buddy spotting up from three. For the first two and a half, 3 quarters, they were playing with some pace, and I think that's the way that they need to play. Just when you're up against the best team in the league, you're going to have to be able to sustain that, and then obviously they couldn't. So some positives to take away. I did think it was nice to see Embiid on the bench on Sunday with Arthur. He looked like he was in good spirits. He didn't have like a brace or anything on his knee. Like, wasn't rocking crutches.
No,
so,
but
like,
that's the
that
kind
was
of Embiid's
encouraging.
MO that way. And the thing too is that like they're not necessarily getting blown out, which is good. But it also kind of makes it more frustrating because you're invested in every game till the very end because you're like, all right, there's a chance they could, with a couple turnovers here and a couple good buckets, we could be good to go. But they just can't quite get over the hump without Embiid. And honestly, there's no way you make a run with this team at all, even with Embiid, because Embiid's not going to give you a full postseason run. I mean, it'd be great to get him back, and they probably will at the end of the season, whether it's the play-in or a lower seed, whatever it is. But in all honesty, Embiid probably is going to miss a game or two, and those game or twos mean the world in the playoffs. And this team clearly hasn't been able to find that fight to be able to beat these top teams, which Boston, the Bucks. When we play the Heat eventually.
The Bucks have Doc Rivers in the playoffs. I'm not worried about the Bucks.
Saying, but we can't bank off of just a historical Doc fuck up. They have a hungry.
I think we can.
I understand, maybe, but my point though is that if you get a Doc fuck up when Embiid's playing, but then when Embiid's out, you get like a weird game where they all click. Like they've put it together and they don't have any injuries. That's the only downside is that we get Embiid back, but I don't know. I don't see it panning out to be like this glorious return. It's going to be an ugly return.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I might be of a different mind on that. I mean, obviously it depends on what he looks like when he comes back. But I think what the team has shown in his absence makes me think that they have all these like good sort of tertiary pieces, and they're just missing they're missing the centerpiece of the team. But I think once he comes back, players like Buddy Hield and even like Campaign's showing you some stuff, which I don't think he's going to be getting a whole lot of playoff minutes, but I feel like they can put a pretty good rotation together once Embiid comes back. But it all just comes down to like what he's actually going to look like when he comes back, and we're not going to know that till it happens. So it's all speculation right now.
Yeah, I think Batum will look a little more useful. Hield, as you said, will look a little more useful. Kelly Oubre will be a little more effective when there's less attention on him.
Yeah,
where he doesn't.
Because Kelly Oubre and Batum were doing so well in the beginning of the year because they were just getting so much space because of all the gravity with Embiid, and that's just gone now, and so they're just not getting open. They don't have enough space to operate in. So it's just the whole house of cards kind of falls down when Embiid's out.
Yeah, I think a Kyle Lowry pick and roll with Embiid, with Maxey spotted up in the corner on the wing. They'll be able to put some things together even if Embiid's not at 100%. The threat of him being there, teams are going to have to respect. They're probably going to be a play-in team, so they're going to have to play 2 games against 2 very hungry teams, so that could be a crapshoot. We'll have to see what happens, but I wouldn't say it's all doom and gloom. Kind of just to see what he looks like when he comes back. See if they can figure out some semblance of an identity without him. I think them playing fast last night might have been the start of it. Just can they sustain it? Can they figure out some other things? And can our boy Toby get his act together?
No. And that's another piece to it. I think this team is going to be, okay, they're a play-in team. They're on track to be that. They might win the play-in. I think they get bounced out of the first round.
It depends who they play.
That's my feeling right now.
If they come in as the 8th seed and they play Boston, yeah, I think that's going to happen. They come in as the 7th seed and they play Cleveland or Milwaukee, I think they could beat one of those teams with Embiid at 75%.
I don't think they beat Milwaukee.
They've been beating Cleveland without Embiid. They can beat Cleveland.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's just where my feel. I'm dead set on that. I think I've seen what I needed to see.
We'll see.
That's my gut right now. I'd love to be optimistic, but I would hedge a bet on that.
I've already got a couple bets or a couple shots running on the Sixers, so I'll sit tight here. But yeah, I guess we can talk about our boy Toby now, huh? So what's been going on with him?
It has not been Toby time.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to delete that off the soundboard.
You might as well
Maybe
just
make a
delete
new
that shit.
version of it.
Toby sucks time is more like it. He's been so bad, dude. Like, just watching him play gives me a headache. Just doesn't have any idea what he's doing on the court. Chucks up mid-range jumpers with like 20 seconds on the shot clock. Bricks him. Then he catches a ball with like 5 seconds on the shot clock. That's when you have to chuck it up. He dribbles around for 4 seconds, then just passes it to someone else. Just hands him a hand grenade, says go shoot it. The one play, there were a couple plays last night that just... The one play, he gets a rebound on the baseline. This is in the first half. It's a short jumper. It's like 16 feet. He barely hits the rim. Front rims it. Like, what the hell? And then later in the fourth quarter, when the game's still relatively competitive, he has this sequence where Maxey rips Brown, I think it was, hits Toby for like a hit-ahead pass. Wide open layup. Toby smokes it. And then literally like a minute later, Toby lets Porzingis like battle for a rebound and like get it. When Toby has the ball, it's on the baseline, it's about to go out of bounds. Porzingis finishes, and then you see Kyle Lowry just like, what the hell, man? Looking at him like that. It's just... So not only is he just offensively not contributing, but then it's just his hustle. Like,
he just
his drive, his energy. It's just, none of it's there.
He just looks sloppy as shit.
He's just... For a guy, I mean, and he's like not a small guy. Like for a guy his size, like he is just the opposite of what you'd call physically imposing.
Yeah,
just does not have any kind of physical intensity at all. Like does not, is not going to like, be able to guard the ball, push people off, that kind of shit. Like, I don't know. It's just like.
He doesn't even get mad. Like, he even does stupid shit where, like, he'll drop the ball or, like, he'll get it poked or he'll, like, take a pass and just fumble the like, it just is sloppy basketball. And he doesn't ever get pissed. He just looks around like, oh, well.
He like...
Like, there's no care in the world.
He'll look at the ref. Come on, man.
Yeah, but there's not even that. He's not even, like, aggressive with the ref. He's just like...
what?
Okay, and then moves on with his life. But there's no intensity. There's no aggression. There's no really... playing with purpose at all. Like, I don't really know what he thinks his role is with this team. He's not playing with his demeanor and body language is so not what you want to see from a guy in your starting lineup at all. With or without your main piece. This is his chance to step in and do something here and assume some sort of leadership role in the team. I mean, he's one of the longer tenured folks on the team too. Nothing.
I mean, he's the highest paid guy in the lineup right now and just is not playing like it. To think we're paying him $40 million a year, whereas Ricky Council's someone that's making, I don't even know what he's making. He probably isn't even making $1 million bucks. No. Maybe he is. And Ricky Council's playing with so much more energy, fire, drive, and some of that is he's a young player, he's going to be hungry. But Toby, man, y'all realize it's a contract year for him, right?
Yeah,
I know.
He's playing like he doesn't even realize it.
Well, I mean, he's probably because he's made all his money now. He's like, fuck it, I could just play like shit, and I'm still getting paid. Like, it doesn't really. If no one picks him up for anything that big, the dude's made it that way.
But still, I mean...
It's just upsetting to see. It just is... It's got to be getting to Maxey a little bit and the younger guys that are playing their ass off to like try to prove that we can win without Embiid. Obviously, that's a major piece. You have a MVP caliber player that you don't have on the court. Okay, we get that. But, you beat a team like Boston or you beat a team like Milwaukee without Embiid. That's a great pat on the back as a team. You beat Cleveland. Okay, that's fine. They're a good team, but... It's not your kind of perennial Eastern Conference rivals in the Bucks. We have never beaten Giannis like that in the playoffs. We can't quite get over the Boston hump. You prove yourself and have a good win against those teams. That gives you some fire coming into the playoffs.
To be fair, Toby's never played well against those teams.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, Toby has had a chance to, like, earn that contract or earn the respect of your teammates and the city, really. And he just can't. He had plenty of opportunities to. Can't do it. You want to bitch and moan years ago and all this stuff about not being an all-star, man. You ain't worth any ounce of that money for that shit.
I think about that all the time. Remember that where he was pissed about not getting the all-star game, and I forget this was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And he like makes a dunk, and you just see him be like, "I'm an all-star." And I think about that all the time now.
The one I think about is he was playing real bad and fans were booing him. Then he had like a good game and we started clapping. He's like, "Don't clap, don't fucking clap."
Yeah.
So what I was thinking,
He needs
right,
negative reinforcement.
is if what if the Philly fans gave him the Trey Turner?
Oh god,
That's what he needs.
I don't know. I'm not giving him the Trey Turner.
Well-
He would take that and play even worse.
Not the Trey Turner, but he needs his. I mean, if his mom's still around, to give him a call, be like, "Yeah, you're playing like shit." That's what he needs.
Trey Turner's
That's
mom?
what Trey Turner helped him out. Yeah.
So Toby should call Trey Turner's mom.
Yeah.
He shouldn't call his own mom.
I don't know whose mom he's got to call. He's got to call someone's
should
mom.
call
I
Trey
don't know what
Turner's
his own
mom.
mom's like, but
I don't know how the relationship is.
I mean,
but
his dad's his agent, so he can't call his dad. His dad's gonna be like, "Son, you're doing fine."
Nah, his dad's too
Yeah.
fucking in his head that way. Yeah, his dad's like, "We're doing great. We're making a lot of money.
Yeah,
We're okay."
We got the bag, dog.
yeah,
we got the
another max
bag.
contract coming this year. I didn't know his dad was his agent.
Yeah, his dad's his agent. That's how he got this max contract.
And he fleeced the shit out of the Sixers.
Well, I
his
guess
dad
his dad's
rocks.
as good as his job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, his Toby
He's a
needs
good
to be as
agent.
good at his job
Well,
as his dad is at his. But
Fucking shout out to Mr. Toby. That's not a bad deal right there.
Nah.
That's your one
I
agent.
mean, he's
That's
probably
your one
getting a nice
player.
percentage out of that too,
Yeah.
and he's family. He can get money whenever he wants.
Damn.
But
good
nah,
racket.
yeah, the whole thing, man. Like I was watching this game. Not this game last night. Probably it was the Bucks game. I'm watching this game, and I'm thinking back to the day that NBA free agency 2019 when Jimmy Butler walked, and I'm thinking back to that day when we maxed Toby. And at the time, I remember thinking, yeah, he's not a max player, but this is defensible because you can't afford to lose him and Jimmy.
Right.
But now I'm looking at it like, for the last 5 years, that's been $40 million eating up our salary, not my salary cap. I mean,
You know what you mean?
eating up our payroll, but eating up the team's payroll, which it's a salary cap league, right?
Yeah.
So, Trevor, you've always been it's not my money type of guy, but
Well, yeah.
this is one of
When
those
it's-
cases where
when it's
even
baseball.
if it's not my type of money, okay, fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, even if it's not my money, I'm mad about this one because think about some of the guys they could have had.
Yeah, all the guys you could have brought in. Even like forget about getting another max player. Just think of like guys you could have brought in for like two guys you could have brought in for half that much. Who
Right.
could have give you some like some 3-and-D type players you could have brought in. You know,
Even for good 1-year deals or whatever, patch jobs.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
Howie does all the time. But like, it's just, yeah, man, they got fleeced with that shit. And he got us.
Yeah, he
That's
did.
all it is, really.
Him and his. So here's what he's averaging in his last 5 games. This is awful. He's averaging 30.8 minutes per game. I'll let y'all guess. How many points per game do you think he's averaging in that span?
11.
yeah, I was gonna say 12.
Oh, 10.8. Spot on.
Okay. All right.
He's averaging 6 rebounds, 2 assists.
How many turnovers, though? Bet you-
I actually don't have turnovers.
That's probably about, I bet you probably 2 or
It's
3.
probably more than that, but
Yeah.
what do you think he's shooting field goal percentage wise? Not threes, his overall
Just
field
field
goal
goal?
percentage.
Like 35%.
I'm gonna say 24.
31.
Damn.
Wow.
So kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
But
Damn.
it's still awful.
Terrible.
Average
bad.
NBA player shoots 48%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From 3, oh, this is really bad.
15.
20.
23 and a half.
Okay.
Only 3.4 attempts per game. This is your $40 million guy who once said, tell a friend to tell a friend I'm a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
He's shooting 23.5% from 3 on 3.4 attempts per game. And here's the worst part. His plus minus. Minus 48 in those 5 games.
Jeez.
That's horrible. That includes a game against the Wizards. Like,
Yeah.
that's not even, like,
Yeah.
staunch competition
Right.
every game.
You
That's
take out-
one
you
game
take out
against
Cleveland,
a
Boston,
scrub
and-
team.
Yeah.
So, and I think in the Wizards game, he was like a minus 10, if
Yeah.
I remember when I looked at the
He ain't got no
stats.
gas in the tank.
So,
Yeah,
It's
can't
just
handle Kyle
horrible.
Kuzma.
it's just, oh, man, I cannot. I don't even know, man. I think they need to bench him.
They need to. I mean,
Start Ricky.
What?
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, there's no harm in benching him. Besides the fact that he's eating up the contract, that's fine. But like, he's going to eat it up regardless. So bench his ass for a little bit. Maybe that'll wake him up if he needs that tough love somehow to at least get. You can't get any worse than that, really. Hopefully, but you bench him for a couple games before the playoffs. Maybe get his mind right. Get the young guys even more time, which they're showing that they, earned a spot at least to maybe contend for his position. And see what happens. It can't be any worse. You're going to lose by 15 every game anyway. Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, like, what are you?
Like,
what are you really losing by having Tobias Harris be like all pouty and mad?
And I think
Like-
Nick Nurse is kind of almost on that threshold, because when he was asked about Ricky Council, he was like, "No, he's been playing his ass off. I love what I'm seeing from him." Like, I feel like he's not, hopefully, not in the same mode of Doc where like he's stuck in, no, this is what I want to do. I'm like hard headed about what I'm going to play. I think Nick Nurse is the kind of guy that would be like, "Fuck it, like what if we've lost 12 of the last 17 games. What's the harm and foul in doing that?" And he's played a lot of young guys throughout the season, even when Embiid was healthy. So like we could see that transition.
Yeah, I think it's about time. I mean, you've seen it in spurts where the team makes a run when Toby isn't on the floor, and as soon as he comes back,
they just look flustered.
They lose they never have the lead, but they'll make a comeback and make the game close. Then Toby comes back and the game's a blowout again. So Nick Nurse is watching that, and he sees it. There was a play in the Cleveland game, might have been the Milwaukee game, I forget, where Toby again struggled to inbound the ball. Nick Nurse is on the bench, not on the bench, but sitting by the bench doing his little squat, talking to the other coaches, being like, "What was that?"
Yeah.
So you can tell he's starting to lose his patience. It's just
even against the Knicks the other night, like, a week or so back. I mean, they're on a good run. They're only down by, I guess they got a single digits. They're making a big push back. Toby's wide open in the corner and fucking fumbles the pass.
Oh, he did that. Yep, I
and
remember that. Yep.
Come on, man! Like they have momentum. Even Maxey looked, which I love this year, that Maxey's finally not being just a happy little puppy dog on the court. Like, he is finally showing some emotion, calling out guys, getting people amped up and shit. And Toby's just doing dumb shit like that. I think they got the ball back, and he did it again.
Yeah, he did it later in that game.
Like
he did it. That was in the fourth quarter. Both of those happened in the fourth quarter.
Either they got to bench his ass, or they got to stop having guys on the court trust him in moments like that. Just shun him a little bit. Make him earn that pad. Like, you're not... It's a shame because he does get open, which is weird, but it's because people are like, all right, well... It's like having Ben Simmons at the fucking 3-point line. Like, I'll let him sit there all day wide open. Who gives a shit? And Toby's kind of pushing that threshold right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Toby in the locker room is a leader, and a lot of the young players probably look to him for guidance and whatnot, but at some point it's just got to be, yeah, man, you're not hooping. We need you to show up and play the way that this team needs you to play.
And there's no swag. He's got no swag. He's got no charisma, no dog, no energy. If I'm a young guy in there, you got to find someone else to attach to, because that shit is not. Yeah, that's toxic to be around.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned he has like no dog in him or whatever, which is like, whatever. But it does kind of feel like he's just out of place.
Just as like
the whole like culture of the team.
Looks like a little mopey puppy dog bitch over here. He's just, I don't know. It's just ass.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's playing like shit, and he's a bum.
The vibes are really bad. But I mean, we could sit here and belabor this point all day.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else to say about it. I do have things I could say about it, but we have other things to talk about. Time, do we want to talk about this sports complex nonsense anymore? Any updates? We haven't really talked about the updates with the Flyers wanting to, Comcast Spectator rather, wanting to expand and remodel or renovate sports complex.
Not the first time we've heard this story. So I'm kind of in, I'll believe it when I see it.
Right. Well, now Xfinity is in the picture, so now that has unfolded. A little $12 billion expansion in Xfinity.
They're apparently expanding that. And then...
I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. I give it a year. But $2.2 billion is a lot of money to be putting down there in the same conversation as moving a team out of that area. Why would you spend all that money in one location to revamp the area to just move one of the main teams out of there and put them in Center City in an area that they don't want anyone to come down there anyway?
Yeah.
In Chinatown. Like, that's, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because on the one hand, the article I read, I think it was in the Inquirer, was saying that the Comcast Spectacor is wanting to expand and spend $2.5 billion on just renovating the current sports complex. A lot of that's going to turn those parking lots into hotels. There's going to be a concert venue, going to be the esports arena, and all that stuff, but you don't have that much space for it. So you're going to end up going into FDR Park and some of the surrounding neighborhoods. So it's kind of the exact same thing that the Sixers are looking at doing in Chinatown.
Yeah.
Just they're going to do it in South Philly, so you're going to end up pissing off a bunch of South Philly Italians and Irish folks, or you're going to end up pissing off a bunch of people in Chinatown. The Sixers move up there. Either way, I don't think that it's ideal for neighborhoods, for residents of those neighborhoods, but at the same time,
I mean, when it comes to the South Philly thing, like, I do think that, I mean, no matter how you look at it, having an ocean of parking lots is just not a good use of space. Like, it's just not. Like, and I mean, and obviously, I hope they at least still have enough.
They're gonna have
tailgating and stuff.
They're gonna have some parking.
There's still gonna be a lot of parking.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like, in any given time, like 90% or even more of those spaces are just sitting there doing nothing. So it's like, you know, I'm all for like putting some shit there. I'm just skeptical that it's ever gonna actually happen because, like I've said, we've heard this story before. Like Comcast, feels like it's like every 5 years they talk about it. They're gonna do this or that, and with the sports complex.
But I mean, this is the first time.
All we want is better Wi-Fi in the city. They're like, how about a new video game arena in South Philly? It's like, we don't cool, but like,
yo, esports do be popping though.
Yeah, it's cool, but they said that 4 years ago and shit never took off, and then they canceled it. Now it's back again. I mean, we could all live without Jet Row. That'd be fine. I mean, it's not like the end of the world. Where Chinatown would fuck up so many other things. Yeah. Where like at least South Philly, you have like plenty of room that you could get away with. Like you're saying, all those parking lots, you'd be all right.
I mean, the article I read was saying that it's going to have to go into neighborhoods, into the park, and people are going to be pissed about that.
And when you're trying to cross Broad, that's the other thing too. Is that like you're again slightly decentralizing the great part about being down there already is that everything is pretty close.
Oh no, I hear you. Like, I'm in favor of keeping it down there, personally. Like, if given a choice...
Just as a fan who lives walking distance from the sports complex, like, sure. But it's just not realistic because the Sixers don't own the arena. They're not going to stay there. They're losing money by staying there.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right, is the Sixers are looking at it as if, certainly we want our own building. We don't want to be down here. And quite frankly, the article I read, I forget what the guy's name is. He's one of the Sixers, like, co-owners, was like, after 2031, the Sixers are never playing a game in South Philly again.
2031? All right, we got time. I ain't worried about this shit then.
So, Trevor, to your point, like, we've heard this all before, and we don't think that this is actually going to happen. If the Sixers put enough pressure on the Flyers, then, I don't know, Comcast Spectators are probably going to have to do something, sweeten the pot to convince them to stay. Otherwise, they're going to do their thing. Sixers are going to do their thing, and who knows what the sports complex looks like, and I guess this is going to take forever, like 15 years.
50,
Well,
I probably won't even live in South Philly anymore by the time all this is done.
No.
But, my vote would be to keep everything down in the sports complex because when you go almost to any other major city in the country, they don't have it like we do.
We still have one of the closest ones of all. Well, especially every major sport we have is right there, which is great. Except for, I don't know if MLS is considered major sport, but
it's starting to get there.
It's close enough. You still take 95 down, but everything else is right there. But I don't know. I don't need to get moved. But you know who's not moving? The Flyers. They'll still be there.
They might need to move if the power keeps going out.
Yeah.
Gonna have to not only renovate the Wells Fargo, just knock it down, tear it down.
One of the best power play killers out there, so that made sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they definitely killed the Pico power play last night, man.
Damn, against the Lightning, which is funny as shit.
Someone didn't pay the Pico bill.
Yeah, that was great though. But I mean, I guess even before we get to that game, we got to talk about Trevor's boy. Your boy.
How is this my boy? What are we talking
about? You have a jersey upstairs hanging up.
Oh yeah,
you love a
Cal Peterson jersey.
Yeah, that's your boy, man. You were sitting here saying, I
Cal
think
Peterson LA Kings jersey because I'm just such a huge fan of it.
You were sitting here when I said, with Hart doing whatever, being a bad person,
being a fucking creep,
they're gonna have to pick up a backup goalie. I was like, they should probably trade a 4th or 5th round draft pick for a backup goalie because Cal Peterson ain't it. You were saying, nah, let him roll. Let's see what he does.
I stand by that.
And then you know what he does. Gives up 7 goals.
But it doesn't mean
and some of those goals I could have stopped.
Dude, it's so bad. It is wild. I don't watching that game, I was just kind of like, how is this guy an NHL goalie? Like, just fundamental things like having to hug the fucking post.
Or standing up tall.
He let in like 3 short side goals like that.
And he let in a couple over his
It's like his first day on skates. It looked like he just wasn't easy on his feet at all. Slipping around, flying around, and just falling over just about. It was
it was a disaster.
Yeah, he had a couple go like way over him. It's like, dude, what are you sitting low for when someone's like right in front of you?
It's like he was afraid of the puck a little bit. He was out there, oh shit, dipping and diving out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the Penguins are still pretty far back. I think they're 6-7 points
They're
back
like
of the Flyers.
Wild card
they
hunt.
have 3 or 4 games in hand against us. Probably not much to worry about in the grand scheme of things, but if we do end up missing the playoffs or falling into a wild card by a point to them, it'll be because of the Cal Peterson game, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very happy to see that they put him on waivers.
Yeah, he's gone. So I guess Felix Sandstrom will probably be called up.
Which I don't remember. He's not that good, right?
No, I mean, there's a reason why he wasn't the first one called up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but especially now that you have all these injuries, and I just don't think you can trade any assets because you want to like maybe win a playoff round this year. It's just, it would be nice. Like, it would be nice to have some of these young guys get some playoff experience, just just for the sake of it. But like, if you're trying to rebuild a team, even if we're talking about a 4th round pick, a 5th round pick, even a 6th round pick, I don't want to give away anything just so that you can be like slightly better this year. That doesn't matter,
Right?
Because sometimes you find little hidden gems in those late rounds, or you can use those picks to trade up. Assets are assets, and I don't think that they're in a position where they should be trying to trade for a backup goalie. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I've become so gung-ho about them making the playoffs that I kind of want them. This season's been fun to watch, but it's like every once in a while I gotta kind of like check myself and remember that they're not supposed to be good this year or next year or maybe even the year after that, and they still they're still at least a few pieces away from really contending.
I'm sure there's moves out there they can make that aren't like breaking the bank or breaking up the core group of guys, but still give you at least a little bit of a buffer to, at least go into the playoffs if you are a playoff team with a little bit more confidence than just like, well, let's just see what happens and, we'll be happy with it. But, it's an odd year that way when you have no expectations. They've broken every expectation out there that they had against them to start the season. But, make a piece here and there. But I get your point where, like, picks are picks and they're good trade value and things like that. But it's quite the conundrum for the Flyers.
Yeah. That coupled with all the injuries, they're in a weird position right now because certainly, we've talked about at length the last couple weeks about do they need to trade Sean Walker? Should they keep Sean Walker? Then Drysdale goes down in that game on Sunday. He's week to week with what looked like a separated or dislocated shoulder. It was just dangling off just like a broken stick, dude. It was just flopping around when he was running off the ice.
Pop that bad boy back in, you'll be all right.
It's not that quick.
After a while, I'm not saying away. I'm just saying
he's week to week,
it's no broken thumb, Pat.
That's true.
And he's had issues with his shoulder before.
Yeah.
So it ain't that easy. So now it's like they probably trade Sean Walker, but does any of this give them any hesitancy to do so? Keith Jones has spoken. He was on the PHLY podcast again sometime over the weekend, and he did say that still this season's all about the future. So it does kind of sound like Sean Walker would still be going, but that was prior to the Drysdale injury. So I question if anything changes. I don't think it does.
I don't think it affects how they're looking at whether to trade him or not. But I think the unfortunate thing that it might affect what they're going to get back for him, because now they don't have as much of the leverage that they had before. So that's an unfortunate thing. So,
But because they get less back,
maybe they were going to get a first round. Now they might have to settle for a second or whatever, which is still, if you told me at the start of the season that they were going to get a second round pick for a guy that was essentially a salary dump in a trade, I'd be pretty happy with that. Be cool if they could still get a first, but we'll see.
Yeah, it seems unlikely. But what else did Jonesy say? Oh, he also said that it would take a really good offer for them to want to trade Scott Lawton.
Yeah.
But Lawton's really been helping his trade value, right?
He's been good this past few games.
His last 5 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points, a +8.
Yeah.
He's been pucking, dude.
Yeah, he's been looking good.
So he's helped his trade value to where they might be able to get like not a first, certainly a second, maybe.
I think they'll definitely get at least a first for him.
You think they get a first for Lawton? Yeah, so that's a good point. Some
I
team,
think so.
yeah.
Like, it's starting to feel like he's probably not going to get traded at deadline, but definitely in the offseason, I think that's a strong possibility because he still has 1 more year left on his deal.
Oh, so he's an expiring next. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but yeah, I mean, Keith Jones also did say that, yeah, Lawton's like a culture builder. We love him. Players love him. Fans love him. So, yeah, I think they're kind of reticent to trade him because of all of that. Kind of what I was saying last week. He's a huge intangible guy for this team, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes. I'm still kind of hesitant to trade Sean Walker just because, like I said, I'm so gung-ho on the playoffs.
Love Sean Walker.
No, man, because with the injuries to Ristolainen and Drysdale, who are gonna be your defensive pairings if they're injured and you trade him?
I'll go out there, man.
Yeah, us.
Then we're not making the playoffs.
We talked about this.
We're not making the
Out
playoffs.
there. I could block a puck.
Yeah. Dude, I would be dead the first time I had to block a shot. I would just collapse.
I would get wrecked out there, but I've been getting fucked up before the game, though, big time.
Y'all would have Ovi coming at you, just Ovi check you once.
Nah, I'm pretty sly out there. I'll be all, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm ass on the ice. I can't skate for shit.
Maimed the first shift, for sure.
Oh, I don't even know how
I feel like I wouldn't
skate.
mind getting a check, though, from Ovi like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like...
Dude,
you know
he's
you
like
made it.
6'5" and 250 pounds. He would wreck you.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You'd probably have broken bones.
Then I could say, hey,
but you can still say I got checked by a Hall of Famer. You know?
Meanwhile, you're sitting here comfy as a clam.
Yeah, I don't know how to skate. I'd be useless on the ice.
Me neither. I'd be I can't see.
Me and Pat are out here getting checked by a Hall of Famer. Meanwhile, you're just here enjoying watching Sean Walker lose in the first round of playoffs.
I'm like three by my
season. We're going to the playoffs, baby. That's all I care about.
I would put my life on the line like that. I think a big check, if that means the Flyers get to the playoffs, I would do that.
Okay, then. Well, when you going out there, hey, just remember, if they make the playoffs, yours truly has to do 6 shots of 99 bananas on this here pod. Yep, I was looking back on my notes. It was the pod we recorded November 16th. I don't remember what episode number it is.
You gotta hope it's a long pod.
I do hope they can hang on and at least cling on to one of those wild card spots.
You're about to put a little straw in that bottle.
But I still think they should trade Sean Walker.
Yeah, well, I don't, but we will see. But yeah, I guess what else? We got to talk about this Lightning game a little bit. About the power going out.
Damn.
Yeah, that was wild. It was like, because I didn't actually see the first half of the first period. I turned it on, and you start to notice that there's no PA announcements, there's no music, and all this. It's just weird. Something's off here.
Like a college game.
And I finally figured out what was going on. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, I was watching it, and I'm sitting there on the TV, and all of a sudden, something happens. And I look up, and I'm thinking, man, it looks really dark all of a sudden. Then 10 seconds later, the players just all stop. They blow the whistles. Yeah. There's a 9-minute delay or something along those lines.
It was funny how at least at the end of that first period, the refs had to kind of yell out. It felt like when in basketball when one of the coaches is like counting down the shot clock or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, 5, 4. But it's like the refs had to do that. The NHL, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Wells Fargo Center. Baby. Yeah. I mean, we've seen that before with Sixers game when the shot clock just stops working randomly.
Yeah.
Just that building's old, man.
They ain't paying their bills.
Not to get back on this Wells Fargo building thing, but you realize, right? In 2031, when the Sixers lease is up, that building is going to be 35 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of what happens, they're probably going to need a new arena soon. You can't just keep doing cosmetic stuff. I know what you're going to say.
I love this. On a pig. It's still a pig, man.
Yep.
Shit
I love
still
that
rolls
phrase.
around and shit. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're like, look at that. Nope. New fresh paint job. What paint did they go with? Gray. Even that is ads. It's like, damn, you couldn't make anything look a little bit better.
It's one thing if it's like some kind of, historic arena or whatever. Like Madison Square Garden's is a fucking piece of shit.
Like Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
But it's been around forever, and it's kind of like its own little institution.
Right.
But the Wells Fargo Center does not carry that kind of
No, it's all cinder
gravitas,
blocks. It's literally just cinder blocks with a weird little mini dome over the top. Like, that shit is ass.
Yeah, no, it's ugly. everything's breaking. They keep remodeling the inside. When you get in, it's like, oh yeah, this looks brand new. Nah, that infrastructure's falling apart. The electricity doesn't work. You know what I'm saying?
Half the time you go in there, the escalators aren't working. Half the time you go in there.
That one Sixers game a few years ago where the court was all wet from the ice.
Yeah.
Like the AC wasn't working. Something wasn't working. Then the players were actually, they said this last night, when the electricity went out and the lights went out, the AC stopped working. So the third period, the ice was starting to melt and they were all hot.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it was like,
a couple of players said that last night.
I remember when they first opened the Spectrum, like the old school, like original Flyers, the first couple of years they had, there was that one game where it was just like fog.
Damn.
There was also one year where it like snowed and the roof caved in on the Spectrum, so the Flyers had to play like all their games away that year. Yeah.
Jesus.
Your Wells Fargo Center is not long for stuff like that.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, like the Spectrum had a good run. I think it was probably like 35, 40 years old when they wrecked it. So yeah, Wells Fargo Center in 2031 is going to be about that old, right?
Yeah.
And maybe the Flyers will play they'll play in Voorhees.
Yeah, not even
Could you imagine the Voorhees Flyers?
Yeah, they'll pretty much be like what the Coyotes do now, playing in the College Arena.
Oh, that'd be a disgrace. Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
But the other last thing I had about that game, I just thought this was unique. It's not even really that cool or fun to talk about. But I never seen them pull a goalie with 9 minutes left. What the hell was that?
I mean, I kind of like it. I like the aggression. It's like you're down 3.
Fuck it. What worse could it be? What worse could happen?
You gotta get those goals.
That was wild.
Luckily, it didn't work out for them. Worked out for us.
9 minutes.
We got a couple empty netters there at the end.
I don't know, man. That was just weird. It was a weird game.
Yeah, all around, just a very strange game.
To beat the Lightning, who and have a bunch of Hall of Famers, to beat them handedly at home 6-2, and all that oddity and all that weirdness, it was a huge win. I mean, they were not right behind us in the standings because we're in different divisions, but that's a playoff team.
That's neck and neck, though. Their records aren't too far off.
Yeah. I mean, we could end up battling them for a wild card position at the end of the season.
Yeah.
That was a big win, especially after they smoked us the last time we played them. So that's that. I think that's all I got here on the Flyers.
Yeah, should probably keep it rolling. I want to touch on the...
We got to shout out the Union.
Oh, yeah.
Down here?
Yeah.
Advancing?
I can't watch the games because I don't have dumbass Apple TV, but hey, shout out to the Union.
They get a red card on that, so that'll affect their next round, I think. But yeah, man, a draw will do it. So they advance because they won the first game, so that'll do it for them. They had a draw in their season opener as well.
Yeah.
Cold fucking game. Oh my God.
They had like a last minute. It was like they tied the game in stoppage time too at the very end.
Like literally the last minute of the game, which was nuts. But I think it was 27 or 25 degrees out on the field.
And you're right near the river there.
Yeah, it was so cold out. Thank God it was dry at least. But like, I don't know. Watching some of these people go into that stadium, I was like, is this an Eagles playoff game? Like they were just cold. You could see their breath. I'm like, what the fuck? I could imagine playing soccer on that shit.
Yeah. But that bunion would be howling as soon as I kick the ball in the cold. The ball probably feels like a rock.
And I mean, as well, I think like most leagues have, in like Europe and shit, they start in October, go all the way to May. So they play all through the winter.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's like, even colder over there a lot of the time.
Yeah, we're pussies over here. We
just started getting the team I follow is in Scotland, and like every game it's pouring rain. Like almost every single time I watch it, it's like it's pouring rain.
Yeah, but it's Scotland soccer. It's not like they're putting out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like brutal weather.
Yeah.
What did Ed Rendell call us? A nation of wussies?
Yeah.
He wanted to replace that W with a P and say something else, but he had to be politically correct. He was the governor at the time.
I met him as a kid.
What was he like?
I don't know. I was like 8 or 9.
You don't remember?
My brother used to work in, he used to work for this company that was in the, what do they call that building that's on like Broad and Walnut, not like the Union League, but right near there. There's some like office building.
The Wanamaker building?
No, I forget what it is, but it's
the Widener building.
I forget, but it's like. But anyway, like their company was there, and like Ed Rendell had an office right down the hall, so you would just see him all the time, like walking around. And
damn.
shit. Yeah.
All right, is he still alive?
He's still alive.
My bad. Well,
still
he used
calling in a WIP.
He ain't
like
that
AJ
old.
Brown.
But he used to be on like the Eagles post game shit. But then he got a little too old. They had to take him off because he was getting a little kind of sleepy on there. So I didn't know if he was dead. I don't know, man. Guys are dropping like flies around here. Who knows, man? I don't know his age or whatnot.
He's probably pretty old. Let's see. How old?
I think he's got a little like dementia or some shit like that, though. I don't think he's all right.
Let's see. How old do you think he is?
Ed Rendell. I'm going to say Ed Rendell's probably...
76.
I'm going to say 78.
What's my guess? I didn't look yet.
Cheating ass. He definitely...
Nah. I saw when he served his term, but I didn't see how old he is currently. I'm gonna say he is 71.
All right, we got 1, 6, and 8.
And survey says 80. Damn, he's older than I thought.
Oh, he's old as shit.
Yeah, but Biden's older than him, though, right?
Well,
yeah.
We ain't gonna get into that, but yeah. But anyway.
How old's Mitch McConnell? Like,
nah, he's 84.
Oh, he is.
I only know that because on his farewell little thing, it had the thing.
1,000 years old.
Yeah, he's claims he's 84. We know that turtle-looking dude's probably 300, dude.
Longest anyway.
Not human. You know.
He ain't gonna give him any more airtime, but
Biden's 81. He is slightly older than Ed Rendell.
he seems a little bit older. Though.
He seems like he's much older.
He seems like he's in his 90s.
Yeah.
Talk about lying about age. I don't know about that.
Straight up, my 90-year-old granddad's way sharper than Joe Biden is. Damn.
Fuck. Well, but anyway, what were we talking about?
We were transitioning. We had to give the union a shout out.
Oh yeah, the union.
Trevor mentioned AJ Brown calling in the W.
I guess we can.
We have more union talk. Hold up, we got more union talk.
Union has not lost, so that's a thing for them. They've only drawn or won this year, so technically undefeated still this year, which is good for them.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's all. That's all I got for them.
All right, let's talk about the Eagles.
March 5th, next CONCACAF match.
Oh Jesus, that was an
AJ Brown. I fucking respect that shit a lot. I will say, I love that.
I like how he called in the WIP, man. Yeah. That's Philly as hell.
I love that. I think that all that shit that he kept hearing about, not all offseason, but what we have of offseason so far, even later part of the regular season, everybody compared him to T.O. and being a drama queen and all this shit. He just said, all right, well, here's my number. Then give me a call or whatever. You give me your number. I'll give you a call. We'll talk about it. And he did just aired all that shit out, called everybody out. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah. I like it. I hope that this whole back and forth media drama thing doesn't keep dragging out, because I do if the type of shit that's been going on is kind of getting to him, that does kind of concern me a little bit. Not that I think it's going to affect his play or anything, but I just hope that this doesn't turn into him requesting a trade in a year because he's tired of fucking whoever the fuck on WIP saying some bullshit. It's at some point it's dude, you gotta stop paying attention to this shit. It's just stupid media bullshit. It doesn't matter. I don't know. Yeah, but I do respect just calling in and being yeah, I'm setting the record straight.
Yeah, I love that he called in the WIP. It's just, hey, y'all been talking a bunch of shit about me. He even said, the media. I do think some of his claims against the media are a little uncalled for, because there are plenty of affiliate media people that are straight up and are honest and are good at their jobs and don't just make things up to make him look bad. But at the same time, there are some certain people who I think he called out that he's y'all just be making stuff up. I want to be here. Me and Jalen's relationship is fine. Y'all got nothing to talk about. Just move on. Did he need to talk for 20 minutes and have it back and forth?
Yeah.
Right.
Probably not, but hey, he wanted to clear the air, and they had some questions for him, and he had a conversation. I thought, for the most part, he handled that well. Again, I think my only concern is that he kind of just grouped all of the media people together when there are certain bad seeds.
He's not going to call
he
out.
He can't call them out individually.
But I will
he can't pull a torts.
No, but is that? I guess the question is then too, is that would you rather have a player than either A, get frustrated with what they're hearing from their local city media as a player, and do an Instagram story or something like that where they go live and just go on a crazy, weird, unhinged rant about shit, or just face the music, call into a local station, and air out their indifferences there and answer questions. I
prefer the latter. The former would be hilarious, but it'd be very annoying.
I think AJ Brown did what a lot of guys don't own up to doing, and you got guys like Debo and shit like that who just go on their Instagram and call shit out and just complain about stuff all the time. Where he was all right, well, let me know when you want to talk. I'll talk and say what I want to say. And I think that was awesome. I think it's, I don't know. I think it's very unique what he did. And I don't think, obviously he had to paint it as like a generalized Philadelphia sports media, but I think those that are listening probably know who they are in the room that are the instigators here that he was calling out. I don't think that he was saying that everybody is an asshole. I think he's just saying that, hey, I know it's a long off season. Don't be trying to poke at shit. They're trying to build something here and keep what they have together for however long they have it. No sense in calling shit out that doesn't need to be called out just for fucking clickbait. Is essentially what that shit was about.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think we said it last week is some of it was just it's a dead part of the calendar for the Eagles.
Yeah.
People are just looking for something football related to talk about because anytime you talk about the Eagles, regardless of what you say, it pops off in Philly. It's a football town. It always has been, always will be. Excuse me. But at the same time, like, have some decorum, you know what I'm saying? You're a paid media person. You're paid to write articles. You're paid to do some reporting. At least get it accurate from time to time. Like, how do I want to say this? There are certain things that A.J. Brown did this year that I certainly did not agree with off the field. On the field, he was fantastic. He was awesome. Certainly, there were things he would do off the field sometimes where I'm thinking, that's probably a little unnecessary. Not talking to media for several weeks and saying you don't have anything else to say kind of means that you have a lot going on.
I mean, that's not his job, though.
But
especially as...
But
I don't think that
is
as
a player, you're expected to address the media. You can't go 6 weeks without saying shit.
Yes,
as the star receiver.
I think yes, the fuck you can. I think that this whole thing of like after a game, you're expected then, especially in that slump.
I get it. After a couple games, you don't say anything. 6 weeks.
I think that's fine.
The only thing you're gonna say is
what's the thing? I mean, it kind of reminds me of when we were talking about the Cutter Gauthier thing, where like he wasn't saying like why he made this decision, blah blah blah. And it's like if you just don't say shit, people are gonna fill in the blanks with whatever they want, and they're gonna speculate and this and that. And it's like at some point you have to come out and set the record.
Well, it's also A.J. Brown made it worse by saying, "Yeah, I was told if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say nothing at all."
Right, yeah.
It's like, so you basically imply that you have a lot of mean things and, like, things on your mind.
Yeah.
Just don't say that.
I know. Yeah, it's like, I'm not going to kill him for all this stuff, but it's sure, like, he could have handled all that better.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Like, I think that that's all a bunch of bullshit, to be honest with you. I think that after a year where he's the number 2 leading receiver in Philadelphia Eagles history, only to himself, in the only 2 years he's been a Philadelphia Eagle wide receiver, which is wild. He owns the best receiving yards record and the number 2 receiving yards record in the season. I think that it's absurd that people get upset that he didn't talk to the fucking media when all season they've been kind of doing some bullshit as well, saying that him and Hurts haven't been on the best relationship and he's a whatever, this and that. He doesn't owe anybody anything. If he was playing like shit, maybe, yeah. And maybe a later part of the season he wasn't doing the best, but the offense wasn't really working, so it's not on him at all. What is he going to say that's going to enlighten everybody else that makes us feel better? Nothing. And I understand that people want people to say things, but I also think it makes sense that we have to also realize that, like, they're doing a job. They get done a crazy-ass game. It hasn't been great for that locker room either to go on that terrible slump that they went on. They don't want to talk to a fucking me with a microphone out there in their face after they just got out the shower. Like, so how do you really feel about this game? What the fuck do you expect them to say?
No, I mean,
I just think that the expectation is a little bit far-fetched for these players in the locker room, to be honest. It's almost too much media access at some points. You got Howard Eskin out there, all weird and shit, and they're asking about shit. I ain't talking to this bit.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't want to talk to him either. But my point is what I was trying to say initially is that there are certain media people that aren't going to grill A.J. Brown. They're just going to do their job. They're going to do an accurate job reporting. They may or may ask him a couple questions that he might not want to answer. But for him to just lump all of the media together, say, yeah, the media sucks, and like, I don't want to talk to any of these people, it's not great.
I don't think that, and that, again, to my point, I don't think that he's lumping everybody in there. The people that he's addressing as a polite scale, because he's not going to point out, oh, I don't like Rube, or I don't like Derek Gunn, or I don't like, XYZ. He's not going to say that.
You know who you probably doesn't like, though? Marcus Hayes. Marcus Hayes always be on some bullshit.
Well, he sucks.
Well, he's always ass. Yeah, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, Marcus Hayes be on that bullshit. Who else? Oh, Howard Eskin, as he said. Apparently, he had a beef with Spike Eskin, apparently.
Mike Sealski.
Yeah, oh, Sealski's. Oh,
Sealski, yeah.
Voracek used to hate his ass, dude.
Yeah, dude. That was one of the best press conferences I've ever seen.
Not that he covers the Eagles, but Anthony D. Sanfilippo.
Yeah.
Torch's boy.
Yeah, Torch.
Yeah, that's
he's
Torch.
in the doghouse.
So there are certainly some media people that, like...
I think it was a good factory reset. You hit the reset button. Now people understand where he's at, and that's okay. But that's all I gotta say.
Overall, I think it was a good move. I appreciated it. Appreciated the transparency.
Yeah, it was good for him to come and like clear the air.
He's playing chess, and me just playing checkers. He said, "All right, well, help put me on the fucking air then."
Yeah.
And did. Can't hide from that.
Yeah. Glad he called WIP. That's Philly as hell, though.
Hell yeah.
But
what we got in actual Eagles news? Not much.
Well, they were talking at the combine. They were talking some shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I got some concerns about Sirianni, our boy. I don't think
you don't think he has the core values in the right order.
These core values are ridiculous, dude. Like, what are they?
Wake up in the morning.
What are they? Accountability, competition, or no? It's not competition. It's compete. Compete's a verb, dude. It's not a noun. Like, most of the core values be nouns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Accountability is a noun. Football IQ, I guess, is a noun. What else does he have? Compete is some bullshit. I don't even know all of them.
I don't know.
I don't know any of them.
I didn't know. Honestly, I find that core values for a team is like a bullshit thing as well. I think that's just so corny.
I see something to having values to running your organization, but I don't know, man. He just takes it too far. He's saying,
Nick Sirianni.
yeah, I'm going to reorganize the core values. He said that at the press conference after they said he was coming back. I might reorganize them. So then he did, and he said he had connect and compete were the two most important ones. So he reorganized them. He found two really important.
Which I will say,
connect and compete are verbs. That's not a value. That's something you do.
Let's not think too much into it though. But based off of the report card that the NFLPA put out, though, I will say that if connect and compete, he had to recalibrate whatever. Connect is one because people did find that he wasn't as connected with his players as they would have liked him to be. So it might sound weird from the press box when he's saying, "Oh, well, I'm going to make Connect and Compete my new whatever, two favorite ones." If some players didn't feel as though he was as connecting as he should have been, maybe that's a good self-awareness now to move into the next season with. A lot of guys said that they could feel that he definitely had some favoritism in there. And compete, the game plan wasn't really competitive to be able to have a winning team. So hopefully those two things work. Also, if we've learned anything from Nick Sirianni, typically when he says some bullshit, good things happen after that. So, he's not the best with words. We know this. I mean, the guy, he is what he is.
Yeah, so some of the quotes from his combine, just his combine availability, just the big, like, I word salad a lot. I'll be talking sometimes and I'll say a lot, but not really say a lot. Nick Sirianni makes me look very just clear and concise and succinct. He just rambles on and on and on and on. So, yeah, I mean, his press conferences are never the best. But one of the biggest concern I had about this one, two concerns, is actually I got this article pulled up. This is from our Brooks Kubena of The Athletic. So this was Sirianni talking about the offense. I think we had figured before this is going to be Kellen Moore's offense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I had said, I think Sirianni is going to start meddling too much, being too involved, and it's just going to be ass. So my concern's only raised because according to this Kubena, this is what Sirianni said at the Combine yesterday, I believe, talking about Kellen Moore. He's been highly successful, and we've been highly successful. I'm really looking forward to meshing with what he's done really well with what the things that we've done really well. Again, I think it's going to be a really good match. He goes on to say, we know that, talking about the Eagles' current coaching staff, which they retain most of them, we know those are really good coaches, have a lot of faith in them. It's the meshing of those two systems to grow in both systems and put the best product on the field. That's why they kind of stayed similar, because we're going to be doing different things, but also we're going to be doing things we're successful at. So I'm afraid that they're going to keep a lot of these same concepts that are Sirianni concepts, Sirianni coach concepts in the offense, and Kellen Moore's creativity that he's shown can really be a blessing for teams with the Cowboys with I guess Herbert with the Chargers before Herbert got hurt. I'm just afraid we're not really going to see it, and this is going to be too much of Sirianni's offense. I think. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if he's the coach. Like I said, I don't know if he's the coach after this next season.
I mean, I don't think they bring on a guy like Kellen Moore to not implement his offense. And have they come out and said who's actually calling plays? Have they said like Kellen Moore should be calling plays?
I don't know if it's officially been announced, but I would think Sirianni doesn't want to do that. I would think part of that meeting with with Jeffrey, was for them to be like, yeah, you're not calling plays. We need you to really sit back and be a CEO and just trust your coaches.
Yeah.
I also don't think that it's the Nick Sirianni that we've seen going to the Super Bowl and losing and then getting a first round exit in the playoffs. I think that we don't know. The offense a year ago was lights out, top 3 in the whole NFL. You know what I mean? Was that Shane Steichen? We don't know, because it's not like the Colts blew out everybody. They lost Anthony Richardson and Minshew did okay, but it's not like they had crazy schemes to do shit with. You go last year where first 8 games of the year, 10, 12 games of the year, they were blowing guys out of the water. Receiving wise, the defense couldn't quite get their legs under them, but their offense was efficient and effective. I think a lot of the flack that we heard in this offseason and later part of the year was gripes that folks had with Brian Johnson not being able to be on the same page. Even Jalen Hurts had some things where we couldn't call audibles out of things because he just had shit that didn't make sense anyway to be able to change out of it. So I think that saying that you're going to have a blend, it's just a natural thing to say, where of course Kellen Moore's not going to come in here and have to instill a whole new game plan. That would set back half the offense. So I think that, you want to dip in, blend a little bit, give a little bit of Kevin Moore in there. Hopefully Kellen Moore can give a little bit more to the run game, maybe run-pass game, whatever he decides to do with this team, open up some better receiving routes. But I think it will be a true blend, and I think this will be probably, in the best-case scenario, the most optimal chance for this offense to succeed. I don't think that a blending of offensive schemes is a negative thing, because I think it's hard to pin down what Nick Sirianni's even offensive scheme is. He's had, under his tutelage at least, we've had the best receiving core we've ever had statistically, with a good quarterback and a great O-line. And again, it's hard to tell if that's Sirianni or the O-line or Hurts or having A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith for once.
I think we saw what Sirianni's scheme is the first 6 weeks of 2021. Before they went real run heavy. It was a lot of just treating Hurts like he was Phillip Rivers, which he isn't. I think that's a lot of what his scheme is. And I think in some ways we saw some of that this past year, where they kind of abandoned the QB run game. Just relied on a lot of drop back game, which Hurts wasn't really the most comfortable with.
I think
they didn't know how to beat a blitz, which hopefully if they do keep anything in Kellen Moore's system, they keep those blitz beaters and some of that motion. Because I do think that in a perfect world, if they really truly mesh the systems where there are some blitz beaters, there is some motion, there is a little bit more of a modern NFL game, along with some of the college-y stuff that Sirianni does, it could work, right? But I'm just afraid that Sirianni is going to take it to where it's more 70-30, 65-45, or 65-35, can't do math. His offense, in less of Kellen Moore's influence, which I think they really need.
I think it's going to be a lot of, I don't know. I just think that they're going to unleash Kellen Moore more so than you think. I think that,
I hope.
If you look at, let's say if it was a 65-35 blend of Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni, Brian Johnson still ran 63 or 65 screen pass plays all season and had negative some yards. If that's all on him, that's okay, but I think that Kellen Moore and Sirianni probably see more eye to eye than Brian Johnson did, apparently.
Yeah, I think.
And the year before we had Brian Johnson, Hurts barely got sacked, got the ball out quicker, his knee was hurt.
Yeah.
Well, we don't, but my point though is that there's been a lot of unknowns. If Brian Johnson goes to Washington and lights it up with whoever they have at quarterback, then we'll be like, oh, shit, okay, we fucked up here. But you don't know. It's his third OC, but the team itself is consistent. So if it's a blend, it's a blend. But I trust Kellen Moore in that seat than I do Brian Johnson. And I think that whatever they choose to blend in there is going to work out fine.
We'll see. Because the only other Sirianni concern I had, and this one's kind of not great, is So the reporters asked Howie first about playing young guys. I'm probably not going to read either one of their quotes because I know we're starting to run low on time. They're long, especially Sirianni's. He's always on that bullshit. Mm-hmm. But essentially, the reporters asked Howie about playing young guys, and Howie basically said, "Yes, Sirianni and I have talked about it, and we recognize that you're going to be in positions sometimes where you're going to have to play a young guy who you may or may not be comfortable with in that position. He may make a mistake. You're going to have to live with the growing pains because ultimately you're going to need this young guy in a couple of years because you can't just buy. You can't just trade. You got to rely on your player development." Good. I like that answer.
Makes sense.
I think that's why Howie drafts some of the guys he be drafting, right? That's why we draft a Sidney Brown.
Yeah.
Even that's probably why we draft Kobe Dean and Jordan Davis, even though they're disappointed.
Big time.
You draft them because Nolan Smith. You draft them because you believe in the pedigree and you want to see what they can do, right?
Derek Barnett.
Right. So then Sirianni, they ask him the same question. He says, "Oh, I don't care if they're young, middle-aged, old. I'm going to play whoever gives me the best chance to win. If it's an old guy that's playing good, I'm not going to play the young guy." Which, yeah, I get some of that. As a coach, you want to put your team in the best position to win. That's what your goal is. That's what your objective is. At the same time, sometimes you have to play the long game here, right?
Yeah.
Like, when we were collapsing, losing game after game after game at the end of this season, that probably would have been an ideal time to get Nolan Smith some more snaps. Like, let's be honest. We made the playoffs, but anyone could see we weren't going anywhere. Why he was only playing 11 snaps a game.
Right.
And, like, I don't know. That's my biggest concern, is I think there's going to be a clash, right, between Howie and Nick, where Howie's going to be like, "Jeffrey, I'm drafting all these guys. I'm trying to make sure that we develop players, and him and his coaching staff aren't doing it." Nick's going to be like, "Yeah, Jeffrey, you want me to win, right? I'm trying to win, so I'm playing these old guys." Jeffrey's going to have to decide. So, you know what I'm saying? Nick, you're playing these older guys. I hear that. You want to win. Howie, you drafted these younger guys. I hear that. You want to develop them. What do I do?
I think that's why you bring in two heavy-set coordinators, though. You bring in a guy like Fangio who has experience with developing players and having a good defensive scheme, and you bring in a guy that's at least a more high-powered offensive scheme in Kellen Moore. But time will tell when they draft and see what they do, and you see what happened with Kelsey and Cox and with Hassan Reddick too coming in there. But I think that, it's a long off season. It's already getting a little murky in the water for the Birds.
This has been a cantankerous off season already. I kind of like it. We got free agency in a couple of weeks yet.
Mm-hmm. The stove is hot.
But yeah, I guess that's it for the Birds. Do we want to talk about the Phils, or are we up against it?
We're kind of up against it. There's not much to talk about the Phillies. I
don't like Jordan Montgomery, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, not a fan.
Nah, I don't
really have much of an opinion. I haven't looked into it as much because I feel like it's going to be another guy who we don't end up signing.
They made him an offer, though?
I saw that somewhere that they extended some kind of offer to him.
Well, he's basically Ranger Suarez. I'll read these stats off real quick. We don't get to spend too much time on it. So, actually, I'll let you guess. So, player A, 38 and 34, a 3.68 ERA, a 1.21 WHIP. I can't even read my own numbers here. 1.1 home runs per 9 and 8.4 Ks per 9. Player B, 29 and 21, a 3.41 ERA, a 1.31 WHIP, 0.8 home runs per 9, 8.1 Ks per 9.
So one of them is Ranger, one of them is Jordan Montgomery?
Yeah.
I'll say player A is Ranger.
Nah, player A is Jordan Montgomery. Okay. Player B is Ranger, but they're very close, right?
Yeah, pretty similar.
So, like...
I mean, hey, you could do worse than having another Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, to be honest.
I mean, like, then I have Chris Sanchez's numbers here from last year, which are better than either of them. And apparently he's been killing it so far in spring training and, like, the workouts and whatnot anyway. I don't think we need him not to spend, like, whatever Bellinger just got, like, $27 million a year. Nah, miss me with that, dude.
Yeah.
He can go play somewhere else. He's 31, Ranger and Chris Sanchez 27.
Yeah.
Let the young guys play, dude. Let Mick Abel develop. He was looking good the other day.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's... I just had to say that once you said, yeah, they like extended him an offer. I had those stats ready just in case. And
he said, let me get my little notepad out. Hold on now.
Yeah, don't bring him in here. But yeah, we can talk about Cafe Illuminati. What are they called?
Wonka Fest.
What are they called?
The company is called House of Illuminati.
House of Illuminati. I said Cafe Illuminati.
Yeah.
House of Illuminati.
Move over House of Gucci. We got House of Illuminati.
Yeah, we're a Satanic Ritual LLC doing children's events. But yeah, so if you all haven't heard, there is a little event over the weekend in Glasgow, Scotland. A Willy Wonka themed sort of I don't even know what you call it.
Willy Wonka meets Warehouse meets K&A.
I guess I would call it an attraction.
Yeah.
It was intended to be an attraction. It's far from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those pictures it
attracted people though. It did attract.
It looked so sad though.
It did hit the goal, but it was ass.
Yeah, that looked butt, dude. That looked so sad. It just looked like a warehouse with like a couple things in it.
The fact that these parents got though too with like all the fucking words that were misspelled on the fucking main thing.
I'll read a little bit from this article. This is from Danielle Cohen in The Cut. Scottish parents are beefing with a company that calls itself House of Illuminati after the immersive Willy Wonka experience turned out to be not much more than an empty warehouse. Based on the event's website, which is filled with old-fashioned illustrations and AI-generated images, they were expecting the following. An enchanted garden where children could pick an assortment of kooky beans to take home, an imagination lab featuring optical illusion projections, and a twilight tunnel presumably designed to evoke that creepy boat ride that Wonka takes them in the movie. Instead, they found a slapdash collection of cheap props, poorly hung backgrounds, transforming the bare-bones space into a scammy haunted house. One attendee described it as an abandoned empty warehouse. Another reported that the entire walkthrough took 5 minutes. It was supposed to be an hour, and was so bleak that some of the kids started crying. Oh man, yeah. So they had to cancel it. The police were called.
That's the funniest thing. Why would you call the police? What are they gonna do?
It was probably they probably thought people were just like, I don't know.
Yeah, the company's director Billy Cole apologized on the news and blamed the mess on holographic paper that hadn't arrived on time, leaving them unable to execute the absolutely fabulous technology they had in store.
Holographic paper?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
What is that?
They had one thing that I saw was like just a banner like these black, whatever these are here behind us, and it was like a sheet of like just candy canes in the field, but it was like just a print. Like, what is going on over here?
Yeah, this goes on. Elsewhere, actors who were saddled with hamming it up for the disappointed kids have offered more details on how dysfunctionally it all came together. Paul Connell, one of the several poor guys who had to play Willy Wonka, recalled being sent, quote, 15 pages of AI-generated gibberish ahead of time that involved a villain called the Unknown, quote, an evil chocolate maker who lives in the walls. At one point during Friday's dress rehearsal, he was told to suck up the unknown man with a vacuum cleaner, but since no one had figured out how to get a vacuum prop, he was instructed to just improvise. So, the Unknown. Oh my god, it's so good. Let's see. The day of the event, the actors apparently came to terms with the probability that they wouldn't get paid and tried to make the best of it for the kids. One cast member says they were told to hand the kids a couple jelly beans and a quarter cup of lemonade at the end. I don't know if there was this one picture on the CNN article that showed just like a folding table like that you play beer pong on. It just had a bunch of plastic cups with a quarter cup of lemonade. And then I guess they were handing the kids that and then like 2 jelly beans.
They got 1 jelly bean.
Like, as
if they were in line at the mental institute to like get their pills. Like,
what are you rationing jelly beans? They only get 2?
I know.
It's a jelly bean, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, your state-sanctioned jelly bean and lemonade lunch.
Absolutely terrifying.
This is the Fire Fest for kids, dude. That's
exactly how they describe it. Yeah, One cast member says they were told to hand in a couple jelly beans and a quarter cup of lemonade at the end. Connell ended up having to play Willy Wonka for 3 hours without a break. In parentheses, he says, I didn't know where I ended and Wonka began. And after finally eating lunch in his car to avoid the sight of crying children, he and a few other actors went home, concerned about the angry crowd of parents outside. In some ways, Connell says, it was a world of imagination. Like, imagine that there is a whole chocolate factory here.
Yeah, that's fucked up, man. Scotland.
I think, dude, I think the big takeaway with this for me is the fact that so much of the planning was just done with AI.
Oh yeah,
like I feel like we're just entering into a new age of half-baked, stupid, wannabe entrepreneur ideas.
Big time.
That normally would just be dead in the water the minute they thought about it for 2 seconds, but now we're in a position where it's like, oh, we don't have someone to do this. Oh, AI. We can't do this. Well, just get AI to do it. And so we're going to see more of these just like cocaine-brained like business ideas actually come to like half fruition because of generative AI or whatever.
You can make a script and things like that, but they can't.
I'm dying to get my hands on the whole script. I really hope someone leaks it.
They can't make a Willy Wonka factory.
15 pages.
Yeah, the unknown. I love the unknown. The evil chocolate maker. What the fuck?
That lives in the wall. It's like
it lives in the walls. Why is he living in the walls?
Is that just like a little gnome that's hiding, crawling up a hole?
What did you see? There was the video going around of where they had the guy in like a cloak and all of the costumes. Mask. All of the costumes look like they were just bought at Halloween Adventure.
Yeah, I saw the Willy Wonka one. He didn't.
Yeah,
that was probably one of the better ones.
The Oompa Loompa with the meth lab.
Oh yeah, the Oompa.
Come on,
was just some haggard-looking woman with a green wig.
Imagine though being like a parent, like just trying to be as positive as possible, but like no, like it's okay.
Oh my
like,
God,
this is okay. Like
the tickets cost £35, which is about $44.
Yeah, I'd be terrified too as a parent, though. I'm not gonna
lie.
Yeah,
I read one article. I read this lady had 2 kids. She spent like $88, 70 pounds, $88. She was saying, yeah, my kids were clearly like distraught. Me and my husband just had to put on like a smile on our face and try to make them feel like it was okay. She's like, I could tell it wasn't okay.
Like, just the way these pictures looked, it looked like how they were just these, sparsely scattered around props in this big warehouse. It looked like a warehouse that was storing props for a movie that never got made,
or like a high school prop show.
Like they just didn't. Yeah, it was like how someone would decorate their high school prom, or something.
Or like when you can see every like stage of the process, you're like, well, this doesn't do it for me here. Like I can see Willy Wonka's over here, the meth lab. Oompa Loompas over here. The weird guy with the silver mask with the gold cloak is over here, which makes no sense. Like I don't know, man. They got, but shout out to that man for making some money.
That was going around of the guy who I guess was supposed to be the unknown, the evil chocolate maker, just coming out in this black cloak with this weird mask on.
I mean, he was unknown. Fuck? Yeah, what the?
And you just see these kids like running away from it.
That's just no dress rehearsal right there, and it shows.
No, it also like it feels like someone just had this idea and was really like fucked up one night and put like some things in motion, like put out the casting calls, rented the space, and then it was 2 days before it, and he was like, "Oh shit, I forgot that I did that." And
I mean, the guy that played Willy Wonka was like, "Yeah, I'm a struggling comedian," so like I was excited to hear that like I got cast in the lead role for Willy Wonka, and then he got the script. And he's like, "Fuck, I got here like this." He even played the actors,
and he didn't even get paid.
No,
it's ridiculous.
Distraught. He got paid in just miserable memories and PTSD.
Kids dressed as Oompa Loompas crying and screaming at him.
People got scammed by a company called the House of Illuminati.
I mean, the ad itself was just pitiful.
Even the apology had typos.
What did it say? Tasty teats? It didn't even say treats. It was like, have some tasty teats. And it was like, what? And they still bought this shit.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the advertisements. It's clearly that like AI generated look where everything's just very smooth and kind of
makes
weird
no
looking.
sense.
Those people deserve to get caught. Just my opinion.
They do.
You fall for that stuff.
You know, I mean, it's Scotland. They don't got a whole lot going on.
They have technology over there.
Yeah, they got a whole lot.
AI is.
They got a whole lot going on. They're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go see Willy Wonka, kids. Got him.
It's their problem, not mine. I would never fall for that.
Yeah, that was very funny. Well, I guess that's just going to do it for us here tonight, everybody. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review every other podcast. Give us a follow on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, subscribe on YouTube and Facebook. Yep, keep forgetting about Facebook. Send us an email at citywidepod@gmail.com. And for all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Peace.
See ya.